Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Health-focused bread brand, The Health Factory, has raised $3.5 million in a seed funding round led by Search, Peak 15 scale-up program for early-stage startups. Joining me now to discuss their plans with the funds that they've raised is Vinay Maheshwari, the founder of The Health Factory. Vinay, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. You know, as I was saying, you started your journey in 2018 and you make protein bread, vegan breads and zero maida breads, right? Take us through what led you to start this company and what was the gap you saw that you were trying to solve for?
Firstly, thanks for having me here. Really excited to share, how it all started. It all began when I was leaving for work and doing 2 to 4 slices of bread every morning. Mom, dad, being from Rajasthan, always came back to me and said, "Ye har roz subah bread kya laga rakha hai? Roti sabzi kha ke ja." And that to me was a very large dam in itself. And then the moment you move from 2 slices of bread to 4 slices of bread, they're like, "Kitna bread khayega?" And then when you tell them, "Hey, you know what, you're still not putting on weight, what's the problem with bread?" They turn back to you and say that, "Aaj nahi, kal pata chalega." So these statements resonate with you. You see, you put a smile on your face as well, right? Because these are things that are happening in an everyday household. So we said that, can we use this opportunity to get the right product market fit? Of course, we didn't have the dollars back then, so we could do little to no research, but just understood the use case behind, what people are actually looking for in good bread. So we said protein, carbs, fibers, fats, how do you minimize some and how do you maximize on some, and then deliver that in a product. So we were the first in the country to launch India's first protein bread, and that's how the journey began. Down the line, when we were building with this product, of course, the product was a little futuristic, and it, of course, attracts a niche. We realized the need to get a simple, classic, good bread. That gives us way into the zero maida journey. We said, why is bread, which is something on every table, and which is a thousands-plus-year-old product going through our application, why is that? Why is that simple, classic, good bread? So we said, what is it? What does this good bread even equal to, right? So we said, can we eliminate preservatives, emulsifiers, chemicals? Can we kill back the sugar? Can we get off the hydrogenated fats? Can we pack it with fiber? Can we give you more nutrition? And that was the journey and the beginning of the zero maida bread.
Absolutely. So making everybody's breakfast that much more healthier, one day at a time. If you could you said it was a tough journey to start with because people didn't understand this, right? So if you could take us to the kind of demand that you're seeing for your products now, obviously with people also being more aware of what goes into their food products. So, and also with prices, obviously, your bread is slightly more expensive than the normal alternative. So how are you staying competitive at this point?
From a price standpoint, if I answer that question first, I see that while we're 20-25% more premium, right? The value of it is so much exponential that it's quite honestly a set-off, according to me. We see that the uptake of the product is much higher because we're seeing that, the consumer is moving towards the healthier trend in terms of even the way he's tracking his steps today, he's counting his calories. So at a marginal level and at an absolute value of give or take 10-15 rupees, the consumer doesn't mind moving towards a healthier alternative. However, with regards to the protein bread, of course, that's a niche and that targets that user set that is seeking out for those grams of protein.
Right.
On the product.
Absolutely. So still in sort of a niche area there. But one of the primary uses of the fundraise is going to be to expand your presence, right? You're currently present across many tier 1 cities. What's the ambition? How many cities do you want to be in and who do you want your main, customers to be?
So from a city standpoint, we're currently in all the metros. Recently started cities like Lucknow, Chandigarh, Ahmedabad, etc. From leg 1, we want to cover and primarily drive the Bombay, Pune, Bangalore's, Delhi's, the Hyderabad's, the metros, where we see our first-in-line audience sitting there. The agenda from there is not to spread too wide too soon so that you don't lose track of everything that is happening operationally.
Right.
But then cause depth and choose your battleground and then build depth from street to street, from road to road, from area to area, build a nice solid regional brand in terms of retail and then go to the city and then move to the next city and so on. So I believe once that playbook is ready, replication becomes very easy, but to crack that playbook is very essential. So we want to get that model right. We want to get the right team aligned. We want to get the metrics in control. We want to make sure that we're not burning money for no reason. And that's how we want to approach that.
Absolutely. So, speaking of burning money, you claim to have seen a 65 times increase in sales over the last 24 months. If you could take us through your revenue story, what are the targets for this year? And, how far is profitability?
So currently the brand is profitable. Of
Okay.
course, it's very minuscule, but of course we've been able to understand the P&L and the line items within the P&L really well to optimize in places of either marketing or operations, and understand and build strong levers around that. We're trying to be a data-driven business in terms of let the data give answers versus things like I think, right, versus I know. So we're moving towards that kind of an approach. From where we are at currently, rightly so, like you mentioned, right? We've gone through 65x in the last 24 months. We give or take almost at $1 million of revenue. At this moment, from the next 6 months, I think there's the clear path to getting to a double in the next 6 to 8 months.
All right.
That's where we're at.
That's the ambition over the next 6 to 8 months. If you could tell us in 30 seconds your most in-demand product at this point, and are you going to double down on that? Any new offerings in the pipeline? What's next for you?
The most in-demand product, I would say, is a combination of the protein bread and the zero maida bread. So those are our flagship products. So I've got that zero maida bread here. It's just that simple classic, right?
Right.
It works really well. We're seeing amazing demand. We're seeing amazing repeatability. Yes, of course, doubling down on the product is very important. I get a lot of inspiration from brands that are single-focused, single product brands. It's inspiring to see when you get that one product right and take it to the market with the right team and the right infrastructure, there is a right to win. So, of course, we will double down. But, of course, in the future pipeline, we are looking at innovating various other products.
So more new products to come. But Vinay, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. And we wish you all the best on this journey of yours.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Moving on, also on what's brewing.